Do you believe your job is safe from disruption by artificial intelligence? Perhaps you need to guess again, as AI is influencing almost every field of work. When you hear the term artificial intelligence, you may envision self-driving cars, robots, ChatGPT, or other AI chatbots, and artificially generated images. AI comes in a variety of forms that are now widely used in everyday life. The smart speakers on your mantle that include Alexa, or is this Siri, or Google's voice assistant are two excellent examples of AI. AI is a concept that has existed, perhaps formally, from all that I've read since the 1950s, perhaps precisely 1956, when I think an American, looked at the concept of logic theorist, when it was defined as a machine's ability to perform a task that used to require human intelligence. This is a very broad definition which has been modified over the decades of research and technological advancement. But we will remember that 2023 was the year when artificial intelligence truly made an impact on every aspect of our lives. Of course, I'm talking about ChatGPT, Bird, Midjourney, Ping, Copilot, and so on. So apps like ChatGPT attracted millions of users in weeks and became household names thanks to its uncanny ability to converse and provide solutions in a human-like manner. Of course, we've seen that this broad definition has been evolved over decades of research and technological advancement. And this year, we're already in 2024, but 2023 definitely will be remembered as the year artificial intelligence truly burst onto the scene with its effects felt in every sphere of life. Like I mentioned earlier, ChatGPT, Bird, Midjourney, Mig, Copilot, and so on, and apps like ChatGPT are ensuring that users can actually type stuff into it and, get out some things, making it ChatGPT a household name because of its ability to provide solutions like in a human-like manner. So in this next segment, I'll go on a journey with my guests to explore AI's transformative potential, the latest developments, impact on decision-making processes, implications of AI, and navigating the complex terrain of ethical concerns and societal considerations, and if your job is at risk, including mine. My guest is Mr. Femi Adeagbo, the CEO of Comnavig ICT Advisors. Hello, Femi. Welcome.
Nancy, hi. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I interviewed a Femi yesterday. This is another Femi.
Yes, Femi's are all over the place. Right?
Don't get me going there. You know what I want to talk about?
I see all the jokes online.
The Yoruba demons. But welcome to the program, Femi. Now, let's get started. And I think I will start by asking you, we've been hearing for years that our jobs will be overtaken by robots, that you might definitely lose your job. Let me start by asking if AI is indeed the replacement for humans. What do you think? If it's a replacement for, yes, humans, if it's also a replacement for social interaction.
Good morning, viewers. Well, short answer, yes and no.
Okay.
But you see, before one really contextualizes that question, what's a job? I mean, let's look at it from our own context.
Okay.
What is actually a job? What's our employment, unemployment percentage? I hear 33% at times.
No,
I
it's
don't
4.1%. The NBS revised it now according to a new model, so they told us it's not 33% again.
No, it's now 4%.
It's 4.1, yes,
well,
according to the last data.
And we've been discussing this for years, Nancy.
Yeah.
And they may be right, because we often don't capture the informal economy. There's the informal economy, there's the hustle economy, the different things actually. And then you have the formal economy. I know suya sellers who turn over $500,000 a day.
$500,000 a day?
Plenty.
What am I doing here, Femi?
Yeah, well,
No, I need a suya mentor.
AI cannot replace them. but and when you unpack the whole jobs data, I think then you start thinking of which jobs can AI actually displace. Now, to underestimate the displacement potential if we don't approach it in a very organized manner would be akin to committing economic suicide over time, because AI will displace jobs at scale, and a lot of white-collar jobs.
Because I wanted to ask, what kind of jobs?
A lot of white-collar jobs will go because people can do things much more efficiently with AI. Attitudes. Look at Nigeria, for example. We always say there are no jobs. People are looking for jobs. But then talk to every small business owner you know, and they'll tell you their number one problem is finding people who want to work. Now, is that a function of the fact that they don't want to pay enough? Is that a skills gap issue? Or is it that people want unrealistic rewards? You've been doing this now for what, 20 years?
More than
I mean,
that.
20 years.
About 22.
Yeah, so some 21-year-old then wakes up and wants to be you overnight, and then gets frustrated because they can't drive the same kind of car you drive, can't wear the same, these glasses are nice, by the way.
Thank you.
Can't wear the same kind of glasses you wear, can't use the same kind of phone you have, and then no, they say I'm moving to another job. So we really need to understand, what forms that employment basket across Africa, and then strategically plan around which jobs should be displaced. If I can have robots cleaning gutters, why do I want human beings doing that? I don't want human beings cleaning toilets.
In Nigeria?
Anywhere.
It would put more people in poverty.
Why? They can do more things.
Like?
Agric, for example. They can go into creative sector. We can make things. Because a lot of the jobs we talk about now are not, they're like subsistence jobs, they're not jobs. They're not jobs. So you see now abroad, in the airports even, cleaners are being replaced in some airports by robots. No time to waste, they're cleaning. Now, so maybe human beings can then become elevated and do really qualitative things. I saw some children at the Unilag AI Robotics Unit. It's run by a wonderful woman, Dr. Chika Yinka Banjo, her name is. They're making robots. The robots, we tested them, they're working. The robots recognize color, they avoid collision avoidance.
Children are the ones making robots.
14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. I mean, they're even coming to Abuja for a competition later this month. Amazing things. Those are the things we should focus. Yeah, maybe you should even speak to her.
Do let me know.
You probably know it's our daughter actually is in robotics as well. And this is another point I'll go into. But she's in MIT. She's the young lady who had 9 A1s.
Okay.
You remember, that's our daughter.
Yeah.
But did Nigeria then put money together to sponsor her?
No.
She got 12 Ivy League scholarships. She's in AIT now. So do you think they're going to let her come back to Nigeria?
So that's the kind of people
so
that
we are being harvested.
Yes.
At. So I like what the minister is doing. I saw his Davos interview yesterday. He's trying to do some talent gap closure in that sense. And he's focusing on AI as well. Are all the states doing the same thing? Is private sector investing in this? Because that's the future. So if we can move what I call low complexity jobs to robots and technology, that's fine. The problem is when it starts replacing you.
Do you think it can replace me?
But put it this way.
Is that a difficult question because you're thinking through it?
We ran.
I've also asked myself the question.
Let me ask you why I say it's a question of time. So if you today are told to go on an aircraft that doesn't have a human pilot,
will you? I would not want to right now because I will have trust issues.
Because you're already used to human beings in the cockpit.
Yes, I'm already used to human beings in the cockpit. That's one. Then number two, I'm thinking of perhaps the efficiency of the machine at that time. It's not been proven yet.
You've gone from analog to digital, Nancy.
Yeah.
Fast forward 30 years.
Yeah. I might be able to do that.
No, not you.
When it's tested.
Your children.
Okay,
it may be very normal to them.
Exactly, it will
be very normal. So over time, if the right decisions are not made,
that's the
generative AI, that's the unstructured one. That's the one that's actually developing itself in a sense without any controls, may threaten human beings. Yes.
So you're talking of the generative AIs, because I think there are 3. You have the super.
Well, that level of where it has emotional intelligence, that's not quite there yet. But you know, you have the controlled, for a simpler term, the controlled AI, where it's developed around parameters, learning parameters. And then you have generative, where there are no controls. And that's why you see even the purveyors of AI are begging to be regulated across the world. And I think EU just came out with their own regulation recently. But you've seen Sam Altman at the Congress.
Exactly.
You've seen Bill Gates saying,
yeah.
because you can just imagine when this goes into cascades into security, into AI machines could decide one day I'm going to launch a missile to stop this war because these humans don't know what they are doing. These things are going to happen.
I was listening to Sam Altman. Of course, if people are wondering who is Sam Altman, he's the CEO of OpenAI. That is the founder of the startup ChatGPT. He was at the World Economic Forum, or perhaps he's still there, but I watched the conversation he had, perhaps with Bloomberg, or is he the Economist? I think he even had sessions with the Economist and I think Bloomberg, and he was asked this question which I'm asking you now. But his response was that AI is more like a tool that will boost productivity, and that it will change jobs. Definitely some jobs will also be taken away, that boosting jobs or boosting productivity, whether by a factor of 2 or 5. And I think there was another lady that was with him there. We particularly is a Nigerian, because from her name, Makonju, I was like, Global Affairs, the Vice President of Global Affairs. I was like, is there anywhere Nigerians aren't? And who is the Nigerian official watching this kind of show? And I'll go get that lady that sat with Sam Altman, and they were talking about artificial intelligence. This was 2 days ago. So this is what Sam Altman, the founder of the startup ChatGPT, is talking about in terms of using that AI is more of a tool, not as in replacing people, but boosting what we're doing. That jobs will definitely be taken away. Some jobs will also be boosted.
Yes. Now, when you look at it in the context of the African free trade, after, yes. And we had these conversations in Marrakesh recently at the AIF-AFDB meet about being strategic about how Africa actually organizes its workforce or talent ecosystem. And what do I mean? If the advanced economies use AI to uptick their efficiency by, say, 10-15%, note that we are primarily consumer of high complexity goods. So we produce things. Anybody that says Nigerians, we produce a lot of things.
What do we produce?
But they are low complexity, low cost. Agric sector, for example, yeah? But we like to consume high complexity, high costs, and we don't make those. Now, imagine that the economies that make high complexity, high cost, increase their efficiency using AI by 10%. We'd be dead in the water. We'd be totally dead in the water. I'll give you a typical example. If you go to an Owambe and you have 10 plates of rice on the table, or 10 plates, yeah? Calculate the cumulative value of those 10 plates and compare it to one bottle of champagne. Champagne is going to be more expensive for all that effort. So if we're doing about, what, $15 billion in imports on alcohol at the moment, we consume high complexity. You see Lamborghinis on the road in Abuja, you see Rolls Royces, you see McLarens in your mechanic's garage. These are very high complex goods. We are the ones 84-inch TVs at home, everything, but we don't make those things. Not at scale. We must make high complexity goods to survive. Otherwise, the effort of your low complexity exports, because don't forget, oil still accounts for about 83%. I know there's a positive balance of trade now, but it's still largely petroleum. When technology efficiency comes into play, the role of petroleum itself over the next maybe, 2 decades, 3 decades, may become less relevant. So what do you then have? If we don't structure the African economies to avoid unnecessary duplication of production, so if we say we want to operate like a family, you are producing this, let's focus on skilling you up in that area and supporting you. You do that, you do this. It's got to be Africa against, it's now blocks, isn't it? The EU, Africa, the Middle East blocks. So we have to approach these things very, very deliberately, very, very strategically, and we need to address how AI actually distorts social order as well.
That's my next question as to how, as a society, how do we strike a balance between embracing the efficiency of AI and preserving human values? If you even take a look at even phones, for example, phones have taken, you go to like a party, even in a family, even in your house, husband and wife could be in the room, everyone is on their phone, and you go to a party, you are not even interacting, everyone is like, do you understand? You don't even dance, you understand what I mean, just for a phone. So that social interaction is gradually being eroded.
Yes.
People don't even, once they just send you like a Facebook message, it's as if they've seen you for for ages, or even like instead of like, oh, saying hello, how are you doing, once like, oh, your friend is doing a birthday, you just happy birthday, that's it. So it's how do we strike a balance in Nigeria between embracing the efficiency of AI
Okay,
and
we need to have
human values?
we need to have honest conversations. First of all, we need to stop pretending. When we see elephants in the room, we need to say there are elephants dancing in the room. We spoke about this, Nancy, 6-7 years ago. Now, think about it. You have, I think, about 30 million, that's 26 million females. And this is nothing gender at all. I'm just using this as an explicit example. Between the ages of 17 and 29, right? About 26 million, according to MBS. If 10% of those, because now you go on Instagram and it's just a horror show, really. It's, it's nakedness, all sorts of things. And these are the realities. We must have this conversation. These are our daughters. Let's stop pretending. If 10% of them engage in what they call runs, only 10%, and 90 are saints, and nobody above 29 does that kind of nonsense, yeah? And they generate 50,000 naira a week, which many would say is conservative, right? That's about 6 trillion as a sector. That's already 6 trillion I just laid out for you. 50,000 multiplied by 52
That's
weeks.
the prostitution
times
sector now.
It's bigger than most sectors.
The wrong sector.
No, but it's bigger than most sectors. It's bigger than, is that productive?
You're putting numbers to it, and I understand what you're saying.
So now, how much of that, and let's put moral to one side, how much of that money stays in Nigeria? How much goes to my mother in the village, my uncle in this, my junior sister, and how much goes on importation of, phones, lifestyle, drug consumption? If we don't have honest conversations about the things that are decimating our society, about our political class, the corruption in the political class. But the political class comes from where?
From the same society.
End of story. Nobody's born a politician. And in fact, most of them come from the private sector. So when I look at all this, this sector, that sector, we're having very dishonest conversations. And back to your question, if we don't regulate AI in some form or the other, and we leave it the way we left social media, unregulated, it's going to be disaster. You'll be talking about deep fakes. Somebody will, make you, you would see yourself doing something you're not doing, and maybe they'll just get yes, and maybe it's just be a 2-year prison sentence, and that's it. It's not. We need to look at this as a threat to social order in an almost existential way. How will it affect the judiciary? AI tools also hallucinate. I'm sure you read about the case in America recently, where a lawyer just asked for, give me an opinion on this and that, and the lawyer now took it to court. They got fined $5,000 each. The thing just made cases up. Cases never existed. So we need to have some kind of governance.
And where would that come
around
from?
AI.
Who will spearhead that?
Well, I believe
in the Nigerian context, because I'm looking at even the Americas, America and Europe, are still trying to find a way to be able to regulate this. And OpenAI founder, as well as even the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, have spoken about this a few times. They're still trying to see how they can come up with it, let alone a country as a developing, I don't want to say primitive in that area. We are consuming what they are building, but are we advanced to that level of regulating
Also,
in your own word?
maybe we should look at what they are doing from a regulatory
For point
viewpoint.
of
Like
view.
the EU has put some regulation into place now. I haven't quite gone through the whole document yet. I'm still on it, but they recognize the potential for complete social disruption, especially in the areas of falsehood, fake news. By the time you are saying it's not me, it's not me, it's not me, nobody's listening, and it could be you, and then you say it is not you, that it is a deep fake. So over time, the very concept of truth itself could become upended, and you can't have progressive outcomes if you have social disorder. So we really really need to look at it from a regulatory viewpoint. I believe the Ministry of Comms Digital Economy is taking the lead, or will take the lead on that, working with all the other regulators in the sector like NCC, NIDA. They all need to put their heads together, and a lot of them are actually quite on top of AI, more than people realize. They are monitoring the risks, and working out how to mitigate them.
How do we really now identify substance from noise around this AI? And let me put it this way. I would say that AI is also boosting jobs and boosting efficiency, in different sectors and in different industries. I listened to, I think, was he a retired judge at the time, at a conference that said, people now go writing and they deploy AI. So it's like our intelligence. I don't know if we're putting our intelligence to use, because if I want to say anything now, I could just go on AI. Even the show, I can say, AI, ChatGPT, now I can say, generate 10 questions for me to ask.
Instantly, 2 seconds.
It will just give it to me. So why am I doing all my research, and why am I still studying? Why do I still want to be on top of my game on this show to be able to come out, blazing all the time, when I know that AI can just give me questions I can ask my guest all through the week, and I can get in 2 seconds, like you said. So how do we now strike that balance? Because it's also making a lot of people lazy. Even those in school, they give you assignment, you have different, so how do you do that? And those kind of people, they come out and they want to get jobs too, and you see that there's really no substance there than more than the use of this tool, artificial intelligence.
You've hit on a very, very, probably the most dangerous aspect of AI is that it would dumb human beings down, which is what you're saying. It's just going to dumb us down, because you will run to what is expedient rather than do some rigorous research. Rather than pen a good letter where you think it through yourself and you exercise your brain, ChatGPT gives it to you instantly. Now, those who are employed now and are not taking their jobs very seriously will be they're already being displaced by even just ChatGPT. So if you have 5 research assistants, really, do you need 5? End of story. So save the salary of 3 or 2. Businesses are about ruthless efficiency. ChatGPT will do it. Now, imagine when it now starts doing proper language recognition. So you're not even typing, you're just talking to it, and it's giving it to you there and then. That's one big risk. It may dumb us down. When you now combine AI with robotics, where you have, maybe you don't need to stand up anymore from your sofa, you just watch TV all day long. So how is that going to, no, but these are serious issues. These are very, very serious issues. So there are issues we need to bring to the fore, understand as risks, look at areas like medical research, analytics. Dr. Tijani was talking about analytics yesterday, and he hit a very good point. The kind of insights you can get when you cross-pollinate all the data from government, for example, and then apply AI tools to analyze. You'll be amazed at how well you can design intervention programs, how well you can deploy resources, how well you can actually focus on closing the talent gap, and all these things. But if we do not have a conscious and deliberate strategy to embracing AI across Africa. I like to look at it from a Pan-African viewpoint now. It will decimate economies, it will dumb the minds down, and guess what it will also do? It's going to exfiltrate resources from Africa because you're going to be paying software in dollars. Some are free, but that's to lure you into the more complex ones that you pay for. So you would bludgeon your jobs here, then start paying $1 subscription for some AI tool that
was created there that you need to adopt here.
End of story. So the risks for Africa are truly phenomenal. They are not. This is the most significant thing I think in human beings' existence in terms of technology.
How about the merits? Because we always like almost run the risk of talking about the disadvantages. How about the merits, especially for Nigeria, and how we can tap into it? Because I'm seeing that we have like less than 2 minutes to go.
Phenomenal.
Okay. In what
The
areas?
upsides are research,
what industries?
medical, virtually every industry you can think of. Because it brings the ability to exert more, computational power, if you like, in problem areas. So you can think about it in just the areas of healthcare, medical research, cancer research, all this kind of education. It could be a teacher. Even ChatGPT can be a teacher.
Exactly.
If you say, draft me a letter, and you now sit back and study what it does, you could even use it as a learning tool in that sense.
That's if you want to learn from it.
That's why I said it depends on how we bring these issues to the fore and strategically, deliberately attack them.
Because sometimes, especially for people that use ChatGPT, you run the risk of copy and paste, and a lot of people are now copying and pasting the same
It's
thing.
terrible.
So that's why I actually
And then
talk
when you
about human intelligence.
when you now meet the person and you want them to perform without the phone, all of a sudden,
the person just goes blind.
It's like taking a monkey, as they say, to the desert. Monkey in the jungle, very intelligent, climbing the tree.
Yeah.
Drop it in the desert, and then it's totally helpless. So the dependency has to be mitigated. You're right.
Femi, I think we'll have to leave this conversation for now. We'll continue on another day.
Thank you very much.
And let's see how that goes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've been speaking with Olufemi Adeagbo, who is the Chief Executive Officer at Comnovig ICT Advisors. We've been looking at artificial intelligence. I hope that you've listened to us and perhaps asking yourself how you can boost your productivity through artificial intelligence, or if your job is really at the risk, then you begin to upskill yourself.